It was just a non-stop cycle, him and another individual code provider.
I, ForneverWorld, am such a genuine, good person who is only trying to help my friends. But Big Bad Double4 ruined my life. No, dude, that's bullshit.
Tell Kembe he's gay and...
I think Kimmy has some things for Boy Bodies Yandy, you know? Like that.
Oh yeah, Yandy, I forgot about that.
She has the most annoying fucking attitude. I would punch her in her fucking eye because she's so annoying. But
Well, we bang up that
she
body.
got some sexy tits.
Yo, James, you got mod powers?
I do have mod powers.
Take care of a couple of cunts. No, I'm not bringing them involved in nothing because, first of all, I'm just not.
Thankfully, more and more of you guys are starting to believe me about the fact that ForneverWorld did indeed leak out my sexuality. Now, this is probably going to be the most personal video that I make. You guys are going to learn some things about me that I've never told you all before. And I know it's hard to believe me, right? Because I've made certain videos for attention. I've made certain videos, like, I'd literally plan out what's the craziest way I could come off in this video before making the video. And that's the whole Filthy Frank video. When I made that Filthy Frank video, I had been up for like 20 hours. I was just like in the mood to like just cause some attention, to cause some drama. And that was bullshit, and I'll admit it, and, you know, I apologize to Filthy Frank, but I don't really even think Filthy Frank cares, honestly. This is something more personal. I had been friends with this guy for 3 years, and we originally started off as enemies. Now, I'm going to cover that base because I had not talked about that yet. I only talked about our friendship and how it ended, but we were actually enemies before we were friends.
This is like an episode of The Simpsons. We don't really give a
Why
shit
would
about
you guys care? You guys...
Okay, go Richard. Go Richard. You're not getting the point.
Exactly.
You're not getting his point. So you can just leave because we can't explain to you 30 times. We can't teach the retarded.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't get it. So I'll see you.
You know you didn't get it. See you, faggot.
ForneverWorld had a group called the Anime Mafia. This is something that he won't even deny because it's out there. It's public knowledge. Everyone knows about it. And in this group, he would actually bring people in calls. I was 14 at the time. He'd bring me into a Skype call, and he would have another person attack me and just make jokes about me, and everyone else would also participate. So it wasn't only him. I don't want to blame this completely on him. There was other people involved, but he was sort of like the head honcho of the group at the time. But he would ultimately drag people into those calls and bully them. That is a fact. There's even some calls left on the Infinite Frames. I'll link the channel down below. Most of the videos, most of the calls were deleted for his image. This is the same reason he deletes the live streams, because certain tendencies, certain like ForneverWorld traits come out.
Yo, James, you got mod powers?
I do have mod powers.
Take care of a couple of cunts.
That's him telling James to moderate the comments because people were asking him, why don't you join the live stream? Why don't you talk to Double4 and end the beef? He knows he's lying, he knows he leaked my sexuality, and he knows it's fucked up. But eventually we became friends, so we started over. And we became such good friends to the point to where we met twice, we had 2 trips together, we'd have like 8-hour Skype calls, he'd tell me about all his problems, I'd tell him about all my problems. We kept everything confidential though, so nothing was out there for the public to see. This was between me and him. I stuck by that shit. I didn't tell nobody, nothing ForneverWorld fucking told me. Everything was confidential, right? He'd say a lot of homophobic shit, he'd say a lot of racist shit. When we were on the LA trip, his father, Ramon Hoffman, and I might contact him on Facebook, and people are wondering, Double4, why do you think ForneverWorld's father would back you? Why would he back you? I mean, his own son, he would back you before his own son? The thing is, him and his father aren't cool. They're not cool, and his father would tell me personally a lot of the anti-gay shit he would say to him around him. So, all I'm going to say is that ForneverWorld has a tendency to say a lot of fucked up things, but I never judged him like that. I always judged him as an emotional individual who would say dumb things at times, and that's whatever. I'd keep it all private. Little instances like we'd be going from Subway to the convention and he would drop like the N-word, but he wouldn't do it with the A in the end, he would do it with the ER, right? And he would never refer to only black people when he said it, but he'd kind of like do it in instances where there was someone really ghetto and he didn't like them and he just wanted to voice his thoughts. I became cool with his father, so we were both there to experience a lot of these things. Ramon is telling me things about Timothy That's why I'm confident in saying that his father would back me over him, because what I've noticed is ForneverWorld's not cool with Ramon. Ramon is telling me all these things about ForneverWorld, and ForneverWorld had freaked out on me. He had threatened to beat me up when we were in the hotel room, and Ramon was there, his father was there to experience it. So he could tell you what he wants. ForneverWorld can lie about the situation, but his father was there, and I'm confident in believing that his father would back me over, yes, his very own son.
No, I'm not bringing them involved in nothing, because first of all, I'm just not.
Why the fuck is James hitting me up right now, nigga?
That wasn't the excuse to why I did it. I did it because after all the shit he was saying within his videos, yeah, I bang this bitch, yeah, I do her, I'm a pussy slayer, he probably didn't say that, but like, he made out this whole bravado that, yeah, like, I like women and all this stuff. And again, it's lies. I don't like liars.
I'm just not. Take care of a couple of cunts.
So just know, the little things ForneverWorld would accuse me of, like being racist towards Islam. Now, keep in mind, guys, I have said some very emotional things about Islam and Muslims after terrorist attacks, but I have Muslim friends. One of my close friends is in Turkey. He lives in Ankara. I constantly check up on him. How are you doing? Are you all right? I get very emotional when I see people dying in pointless attacks, and yes, I do have some strong, aggressive opinions about Islam, but it's never coming from like some hateful, like I hate Muslims, like all Muslims type of shit. I will admit, if you take it out of context, it might come off like I hate every single person who follows Islam, but I really don't. I just understand the religion to some degree. And obviously it's not black and white, there's different interpretations, there's good Muslims and the majority of Muslims are good, but people definitely downplay the bad elements of the religion, and that has an effect on all of us in civilized society. So ForneverWorld called me a blatant racist.
Is even a blatant racist?
I wonder why you're hanging out with a blatant racist, Timothy Hoffman. Why are you hanging out with someone who's blatantly racist? Again, these things would have never been brought up if Timothy, who by the way refuses to jump into a live stream with me to squash the beef, who refuses to bring his father on, he talked about how my father was a sperm donor, and he'd said like, you know, my father failed as a father, but my father still supports me, Timothy. Your father doesn't. Again, these things would have never been brought up, and I don't want to downplay the whole emotional element that ForneverWorld was going through at the time with his girlfriend. Sometimes people say things they don't mean when they're going through it, but that still doesn't really give you the right to be a fucking asshole and try to attack me in front of your father. Again, all of that shit would have remained confidential if you did not out me. If you did not leak out my sexuality, and the reason you don't want to come into a live stream with me is because you know you did that shit. And you know it's fucked up, and you know face to face you would not be able to lie about that to me in front of everybody. You told James to make the tweet, you told James to make the video, and you acted as if you didn't have anything to do with that shit, but then suddenly the tweet disappears, and suddenly the video disappears when there's backlash. When everyone in the comments is like, you know what, I kinda hate Double4, but that was kind of fucked up. You and James are pretty close, right? So if you didn't tell him to make the video, and you didn't tell him to make the tweet when you were the only one who knew about my sexuality at the time, I had stopped talking to everyone else, I was only talking to you. Unless you told them right afterwards. You told everybody. Now, I would have been cool with you keeping the gay shit that you got so mad about in the call strictly between you and them.
Ramon had a crazy sex last night.
Oh, you and him were fucking.
I would have been cool with that. I'm not cool with you telling James to write a tweet, to write a video, and then when you have backlash because of it, because people are writing, I hate Double4, but it's still fucked up, you then tell James to delete the tweet, you then tell James to delete the video. And keep in mind, guys, the reason ForneverWorld always deletes his live streams, and he always tries to do it on some other page like James Hansen's page, is because his tendencies come out. His tendencies to tell other people what to do come out. I know this. Shit, I used to talk to the guy for 8 hours. He'd have me attack people. He'd have me do shit for him.
I dare you to go up to that Ace cosplayer and say, hey, let me get a picture, bro.
Where?
So your tendencies come out. In the midst of all this, James, moderate the comments for me. What do you think that he would be saying in those calls when no one's watching? Again, all this would have been kept private if you kept it between you and those guys. After you told all of them, it would have been better if you kept that shit private. The second you told James to leak it is the second that I'm going to leak everything out. So it's super fucked up for you to do that shit and to act like I started any of this. We had went our separate ways for ForneverWorld. After you texted me that shit about, oh, why are you talking to Sawyer? We stopped talking. And I don't even talk to Sawyer like that. I made one fucking video with Sawyer. But we stopped talking, and then you decided to do all that petty-ass bullshit as my channel was taken off, as your ego couldn't contain that shit. You told James to leak it out because you know if you did that yourself, oh man, that would have been a lot worse. And yeah, it would. People are going to continue talking about what they want to talk about. You've copied other people. You've copied me before multiple times. You're not original. Everyone does the same shit, and I will continue making the same shit. And your thumbnails aren't fucking original. You get your thumbnails from DeviantArt just like me.
If ForneverWorld was friends with me, why the fuck would he steal my videos without giving me credit? It's really funny to me when he goes off on Double4 for copying and stealing. He repeatedly does this. You're copying me, you're stealing from me. When that's exactly what ForneverWorld consistently did to me. I made a predictions video where I accurately predicted that there would be a Coliseum tournament arc with Ace's Devil Fruit as the prize. I've also accurately predicted that the Smile Factory would be under the Coliseum, among other things. ForneverWorld sees my predictions, takes it, doesn't give me credit. He acts like he predicted this shit and takes credit when it's correct. In order for a tournament like that to be possible, it would have to have a very strong driving force behind it, like Ace's Devil Fruit. Doflamingo entrusted Ace's Devil Fruit to Diamante, who also runs some sort of Coliseum in Dressrosa. He runs the Coliseum, and Ace's Fruit could be the prize. Let's have a tournament, and the winner gets this Devil Fruit. Also, here's a clip I made a long time ago that I have not released because there wasn't really an appropriate time, but check this out. I made my Naruto Kamikage discussion video about whether Naruto should even become Hokage, whether becoming Hokage even matters anymore. Does Naruto becoming Hokage even matter anymore? I'm not talking about whether it matters to Naruto, I'm talking about whether it matters to you. To me, it doesn't. At this point, I would not be satisfied if the series ended with Naruto becoming Hokage. And ForneverWorld did a similar discussion shortly after. The same exact topic about Naruto becoming Hokage. Does that even matter anymore? Like, what's the significance behind Hokage anymore? Of course, he didn't say the same shit as me, but it's the same exact topic right after I made my video. Now, normally, when you do a video with the same exact discussion topic, right after someone else did it, it's a video response. It's the same topic, you want to give your own take on it, so you make a video response. And you fucking give the guy a shout out. You fucking mention his name, the person you are responding to. Especially when we're fucking friends, right? But the way he started off his video was to avoid mentioning me. Will Naruto still become Hokage, and what will be the importance of Hokage in the future? Alright, so as of recent, a lot of people for a while now actually have been saying a couple different things about Naruto, his goal from the beginning of the series of becoming Hokage, its relevance in the story. A lot of people are talking about this recently, a lot of people. Dude, it's right after I made the same exact discussion. ForneverWorld is the most hesitant, careful person about shouting people out, about mentioning names in video responses, about mentioning names when you use the same topics, concepts, predictions, and ideas. I wouldn't have a problem with any of this if he just gave me credit. Whatever happened to... If you're gonna copy what I say, at least say who said it. No, not debit. I said give me credit.
Guess when you have as many subscribers as ForneverWorld, you don't have to let him know you got it from me. He does not see his friends as actual friends. He sees them as competition. There is no other explanation. Why else would you refrain from mentioning your friends while you steal their content? He was pretending to be cool with me while doing all of this shit.
Where a lot of the people in his life that he once talked to, he no longer talks to them. Because the only people that he surrounds himself with in his life are yes men. People that he can tell what to do, people that if they, start becoming competition, he throws them fucking out. You take your thumbnails from the episode just like me. It happens to be that the same thumbnails we fucking pick based off of experience of what would get the most views is the same shit because obviously that would work. So I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. Now that I got this shit off my chest, I'm going to be going a lot harder. And you don't even have to hear this from me. You could hear this from Code Provider. Now, Code Provider doesn't like me. We actually never really liked each other like that. The second we both got into those We Are Nakama calls, we kind of hated each other. He'd scream in my face about how One Piece is better than Naruto. And by the way, ForneverWorld recorded that conversation, Code. So just to, defend ForneverWorld about, recording, ForneverWorld recorded a lot of shit about you.
In Double4's second video, he released small clips of private Skype calls as evidence against ForneverWorld. Which means he recorded these calls that were not supposed to be recorded.
And he'd play that shit in the calls when you weren't there, just so you know. But you could hear this from Code Provider. So what are the facts? You'd say a lot of fucked up things in calls, in front of Ramon, in front of everybody. This is why I could get Ramon to check you. This is why I have recordings of you. This is why you even put your own self out there like that. The recording I used in the last video about ForneverWorld talking about punching a girl in the eye, that shit is something he recorded and he thought it was just funny at the time, so he put it on the Infinite Frames. You could say it doesn't matter, it's just a model, it's just an actress that he was referring to in that specific instance, but why does that matter? The point is, he'd say fucked up things in calls, and then he'd out my sexuality, right? So the things that I wanted, like hidden, private, and confidential, he put that out there, but the things that he's getting so heated at me about, oh, Double4, how could you put that call out there? First of all, you put that call out there. That's something you recorded with the Mafia, the anime Mafia at the time. And so, ForneverWorld, leave me alone. You started all of this. You started this with Sawyer. You don't address the Sawyer situation because you know you started it with Sawyer. That's when he first took to Twitter and started writing about how I'm a terrible person and how I'm just this big copycat. Right when I started talking to Sawyer. Coincidence much? No. You know exactly what it is. You didn't want me talking to nobody else because your fucking ego wouldn't let that shit happen, especially with my channel growing. So you need to leave me alone. You need to leave me alone. You need to stop sending James to fucking defend you. You need to do that shit yourself. Go make a fucking video about it. Go make another video about it and lie so I can debunk all that shit. You need to stop sending James to vouch for you on Code's video when Code's exposing your ass. Granted, Code's exposing me too because, well, Code has his own perspective on where our little thing went wrong because me and Code used to beef with each other back in the day. But you can hear from Code, the guy who doesn't even like me. James is being used. James is being told what the fuck to do. I used to be that guy. Bleach Fanatic used to be that guy when I was in calls with ForneverWorld back in 2011 when he dragged me in and bullied me, and I recorded it. He also recorded it. That's why he mentioned that shit. So that's it. You could say I'm lying in this video, and you can make your response, and I'll just debunk it, because I know what I'm saying is true, and I have everything to fucking back it up. Though, guys, I really don't like doing this. I'm just tired of being attacked, honestly. I'm tired of being harassed. I don't like losing 1,000 subs. I already know I would have lost subs in this drama. And the reason is because me and ForneverWorld have a similar fan base. I already knew I was going to lose subs. I knew I was going to get all these dislikes. Why would I do that to myself? I'm having all these viral videos. I'm taking off, and I suddenly have to address ForneverWorld. Is it because I really want attention? No, it's I want you to get off my fucking back. Though, me being a part of this drama, I realize I'm a part of the problem. I do realize that shit. You know, some of you guys might feel like Double4, you should have just taken the L on the sexuality. When ForneverWorld had told James to leak out your sexuality, you should just, you know, taken the L, continue doing what you're doing, ignore ForneverWorld, and you would have been better off. True. True. Granted, he'd still write about me, he'd still constantly attack me, but that is true. If I don't address ForneverWorld, I'm actually better off. And in the midst of all this, I realized that this channel and me focusing on drama has made it so, like, it really looks like I don't care about you guys. And I want that to end, and I want to start incorporating you guys into my channel. So I'm already late with my Dragon Ball Super review. I'm already late with my Attack on Titan review. I'm late with all those things. But what I want to start doing from now on is incorporating you guys. Maybe there will be 3 to 5 participants for every single review, so maybe you guys can send me your thoughts about the latest chapters and episodes on Twitter or, you know, through my email or whatever. I'll put my email down below in the description. And every single week I could add your guys' videos and thoughts at the end of my review just to make it seem like we're more of a fucking community, because lately, I feel like it's been all about me, it's been all about the drama, and you guys are the ones who give me the opportunity to talk about anime and manga every week. If it weren't for you guys, I would not be doing this. I would not be doing this. I'm doing this for you guys ultimately. I really don't need the money that much, guys. Some people say, oh, Double4 does it all for the YouTube money. Listen, I have my own apartment. It's paid off. I'm going to college. My father's supporting me in college, so I don't really need the money like that. The money's not the biggest thing. The thing is, I started this as a passion, as a hobby. I wasn't even a YouTube partner when I started this shit, and I want to keep doing it because I built up an awesome fan base, and I fucking mean it. So I've been through a lot of shit. I've been through a lot of shit with not only Timothy, I've been through a lot of shit in life, man. You know, when I was younger, I lost my mom to fucking cancer when I was 13 years old. That had a big giant effect on me. I would say that's one of the reasons why I jumped onto YouTube, because I wanted to express myself after the loss and everything. But ultimately, I made a lot of bad decisions, period. And people still hold me for those decisions to this very day. I'm going to tell the full fucking story. ForneverWorld, you did leak out my sexuality. It's fucked up. But if you're willing to let this fucking go, and you're willing to not constantly write shit about me on Twitter every fucking day or every week, then we can move on and leave each other alone. But people are going to know. They're going to know the truth. The truth is there. Code, who fucking hates me. He hates me. He does not like me. He put it out there.
And you're ripping off not only the content of it, you're also taking my exact thumbnail and inverting it, taking my exact title. Yeah, that's a form of copying, but it's different when it's news. Like, whatever, there's news, of course, everybody's going to talk about news, but there's a whole other thing when you're ripping off direct content, and it's a meme.